This might be the hardest Mario Kart custom track ever made. H-Man's Death Run 2 challenged me in ways I've never experienced before. The footage you're about to see is the culmination of 3 hours worth of attempts. This Kaizo track was created by H-Man6516 and designed by Kirio04 and Billy Noodles. I saw this track originally in 2021 and read it was tool assist only, so I never thought in a million years I would ever attempt it. But you guys really liked H-Man's Death Run 1. Both the video and short piqued a lot of curiosity about the second level, so I decided it was finally time. My plan was to use save states so I can try each level over and over again without resetting, but I wanted to play the game at 100% speed still. It would make the video way more fun to watch to not use slowdowns. So with all this being said, I knew only one man was up for the job. It was time to put Beef Boss through the ringer. Also, the last time I watched a video of this level was 3 years ago, and I had completely forgotten everything, which will explain why I made every mistake in the book. In fact, I had already failed massively. This level requires 3 mushrooms to beat, and I fell off in the very first couple seconds. But I didn't know any better, so I continued onwards like nothing happened and entered the platform section. I really didn't know where the fall boundaries were, so I was just trying everything. Like I said, I didn't watch a video on it, so I didn't know I had to hop zigzag style to get through it, but at this point I started to figure it out. The key here was to spin drift, and you had to do the opposite direction spin drift each time until you got past all of the pillars. So I didn't know it yet, but I actually completely cheesed the level the first time I completed it. I got past the first 2 platforms, then was able to break and then clear the last one with ease. Once I figured it out, there was tons of pipes you had to go through, and I completely ignored the arrow and ended up just going straight through this pipe that led me out to another pipe on the other side. Then when I finally went through the correct pipe that led me to level 2, I realized I had massively screwed up. There was no way I was completing this jump. Well, the first jump was actually doable, but the second jump would require at least 2 mushrooms. So I decided to try one of the other pipes because I didn't want to lose my progress and have to redo level 1. In hindsight, this sounds hilarious, and you guys will see what I mean. The secret level on the extra warp pipe was like a flooded peach gardens. But it was strange. There was like these massive slanted platforms, and their hitbox made no sense whatsoever. But I wasn't able to reach them because once again, I had no mushrooms. After reset number 1, I was able to clear the platform section at the beginning with ease, and at this point while going through H-Man's Death Run 2, I was really energized. I was excited. I thought I could beat this. From version 1, I remembered the difficulty was not based on the level. Some of the hardest parts were at the beginning, so I thought this one would be the same. I thought the worst was behind me. The Mach Bike has a high speed stat and gets a lot of airtime, so with the TF input, while drift tricking and using all my mushrooms, I was able to finally get past level 2. But reality really started to sink in with level 3. It had a callback to one of the levels from H-Man's Death Run version 1, but this level was just cruel, and at the time I didn't really grasp how cruel it truly was. I finally landed on the green slanted block, fell off immediately, but the respawn was favorable. You see this face right here? This is the face of a man who thinks he's accomplished something. I had no idea I needed 1 more mushroom to complete this challenge. This meant that I couldn't fall off on that section. I had to actually land on the green block with my trick boost after the slanted block. Anyway, the swivel section, super easy, surprisingly no fire pinwheels in the way, and instead of going down the giant hole, I thought that I can go to the secret pathway on the left where the black line was, but nope, we have to go down the hole. And this was no ordinary hole. You had to enter it at the perfect angle with the right amount of speed. If you went too far forward, you were counted out. If you hit any of the ledges, you were also counted out. Something strange happened where I actually managed to land on the very bottom, but I was stuck. There was no way for me to hop up on the ledge, so I had to surrender, go out of bounds, and try the level again. To my surprise, the next attempt miraculously worked and I managed to actually defeat level 5. I had been playing H-Man's Death Run 2 for like 30 minutes at this point, and I figured I'd be completing the entire thing in the next 5 or 10 minutes. When you use save states, you don't really have much of a break. You're just kind of doing the same attempts over and over and over. So I was actually feeling pretty fatigued, and when I got to the labyrinth, it was pretty embarrassing. I couldn't get through it for over a minute, and then I just went and took a break. I got hungry, but with my belly full, I was back. And then we were able to complete the maze with ease. We only had 2 levels left. One of them mirrors the ending of Mushroom Gorge, the other one N64 Bowser's Castle. It looked like they were just replicas of the shortcuts. This should take no time at all. I've done these shortcuts a million times, but I have never been so wrong in my life. this Mushroom Gorge level was more difficult than the other 7 levels combined. I am not exaggerating. 2 out of the 3 hours on this challenge were spent on this level. And I didn't know it yet, but I was about to reset and have to do everything all over again. I'm cutting out most of the attempts here, but I tried every possible way to make it trimless, and I reluctantly restarted. I told myself I am not redoing that entire thing. Having to land on that green block without falling off, no thank you. So I decided to go for the secret level thinking it could potentially bypass all of that. Last time I was there, I didn't have any mushrooms, but this time, Beef Boss was fully equipped. Now this part was very confusing. The hitbox made no sense. I was like underneath these platforms. Even when I would trick to get to the next one, I just kept bonking over and over. And as expected, reset number 3 happened rather quick. I had deemed the secret level impossible, and I decided I had to go the fiery path and complete it without falling off. We are not even 6 minutes into the video, and I am 45 minutes into this challenge. So let's skip to the part with the green block. The way I managed to get so much air and preserve my mushrooms is by doing a TF input, and this gives me an incredible amount of air. I used this exact same technique on the jump prior for the last level, and I'm pretty sure this is the only way to defeat this level. So this next part is truly heart-wrenching. I had the complete opposite problem. Instead of not getting enough air to get to the mountain, I was getting too much air, which means I couldn't get through the rings. You had to go through all 3 rings in order to complete level 7. I tried this for an hour and I was really starting to doubt my vehicle choice. In fact, I completely gave up and this video almost never existed. I woke up the next day determined. It was time to harness the power of Funky Kong, and by this point I had so much practice on the first 6 levels that I knew it wouldn't take long. The levels did feel quite different with Funky Kong, like level 2, just possible by a few pixels, that's it. The problem was, level 3 was way easier on Mach Bike. It took me 30 minutes to land on that green block again. But once I pulled it off, I could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. I knew I was getting to at least level 7. Also, I believed I understood why I couldn't beat the challenge. The Flame Runner was gonna give me what I needed. Level 4, also more difficult with Funky Kong, but really only just the initial jump. Once you're on the swivel section, easy. Level 5 felt pretty much the same with Funky Kong. And it's funny, even though the maze on level 6 gave me so much trouble the first time, now I had completely memorized the way to go. And this brings us to level 7. Keep in mind, part of me did not even believe it was possible. It felt like a troll. Like, oh, you can almost beat this impossible level. We're just gonna tease you. At the very end, we'll make a part that you can't get past. That's how my brain was working at this point. But wait a second, did you see that? Finally, some hope. The way you pull off the wall ride to save the most amount of time is by using a mushroom, jumping before the mushroom pad, then tricking with diagonal down left input. You have to claw the controller to pull this off, but if you do it perfectly, your vehicle will pretty much 180 in the air and you'll be able to wrap around the mountain. I was finally getting close. And then out of nowhere, this happened. I was so tense waiting the pending respawn. I didn't even get through the last ring, but we got it. The game gave it to me, and all there was left to do was complete the victory screen. It was the last corner of the last track of base game Mario Kart. As expected, we managed to get it first try, and then all there was left was a final straightaway into the lava. And it was over. All my pain and frustration had come to an end. Wait, there's 2 more laps?